Aaron, Pieter-Louis Myburgh speaking there today. Bloemfontein, of course, is Ace Magashule's home base. How was Myburgh received?
Quite warmly, I would say, here at the University of the Free State. He did seem to be speaking rather to the converted, you could say, here on campus this afternoon, although at times there were some murmurings. For example, one member of the audience during the Q&A afterwards said that Magashule had been persecuted in Myburgh's book and suggested that if Myburgh had all of this evidence against the former Premier, now ANC Secretary General, why didn't he go to a police station and open a case? Myburgh saying that wasn't best practice for investigative journalists. He's providing this information as an investigator, as someone who does checks and balances as a writer and a journalist, but that it's not his duty or it's not appropriate for an investigative journalist to go to a police station. When this member of the audience, Thembekile, said that Ace Magashule was being persecuted in the book Gangster State, which is about Magashule's alleged web of capture in the Free State province, someone shouted out "thank you" as an affirmation of this audience member's point about Myburgh's book.
And while all of that is happening, Aaron, we had seen some concern, or some level of concern at least, as far as safety at Myburgh's book launches, given the violent scenes that we saw at the Sandton launch. Was security rather visible in Bloemfontein today?
Certainly just outside this hall, Thembekile, we saw campus security, patrol vehicles for traffic, people in yellow bibs, also scanning people physically before they enter the premises. No books grabbed and torn apart here, no threats of bonfires from anybody at the venue. As I say, it did seem to be a rather converted crowd for the most part here at the University of the Free State. But importantly, there are other issues going on at campus as well. Not that we've seen much of it, but grievances around NSFAS, concerns over fee issues at the University of the Free State. We understand that there is a demonstration here by the EFF on Tuesday, but things relatively genial and calm here during the book launch, as you say, perhaps to some people's disappointment.
And as far as Pieter-Louis Myburgh, how's he taken some of the critique then, the very little critique that there's been of his book in Bloemfontein?
Well, Thembekile, I will tell you there was a very interesting moment during the Q&A from audience members here at the hall in the University of the Free State, and that was when a man sort of spoke up and said that he and a business partner had been implicated in Gangster State. This private businessman accused Myburgh of purporting lies and sort of peddling lies in his book, really, and claimed that he'd offered to meet with Myburgh time and again, a Mr. Pieter-Louis, who owns a business that deals with water supply, claiming that Myburgh had declined opportunities to engage with him and a neutral third party over some of the claims in the book. And Myburgh used that commentary, one, not only to rebut it, but also, interesting, Thembekile, to address a criticism against him as a white male journalist. And we have to veer into demographics here for the point that he made. The argument that he focused on black politicians in the Free State, people of colour, and that this was perhaps informed by a racist agenda. Now, the gentleman who asked him the question, the Mr. Pieter-Louis, happens to be a white, apparently Afrikaans-speaking man. And Pieter-Louis Myburgh, rather, used this question and comment as an opportunity to say to the audience, well, look, this person's in my book. They've been implicated in allegations of wrongdoing on the work that I've done and the evidence I've dug up. And it just goes to show my point that I'm not only targeting people of a particular hue. He claims that in his comprehensive investigative journalism, both at PRASA, involving the Gupta family, and in terms of corruption in the Free State, that it's a rainbow nation of characters, which is something maybe Helen Zille should take heed of, considering her recent tweet.
And Aaron, just on Pieter-Louis Myburgh and Ace Magashule, the book did spark a bit of a back and forth between the two. Ace Magashule threatening to take some sort of legal action. Has that come forth?
It hasn't, and it actually came up as a point of discussion during the Q&A with the audience this afternoon. One of the audience members asking, has Magashule really delayed on his promised litigation because he has something to hide? Begging the question in an audience of people who seemed largely not to have a problem with that kind of suggestion. But it is an important and pertinent question. Why has Magashule not pursued this matter any further? We know, for example, that when the ANC Youth League in the Free State threatened a bonfire and reportedly had a warehouse worth of copies of the book Gangster State. Magashule issued a statement from Luthuli House discouraging people and urging people to desist from burning books and encouraging them rather to debate in the domain or the arena of ideas and political thought. But as things stand, no word on when he and Pieter-Louis Myburgh will be heading to court, if ever.
Erin Bates, live for us at the University of the Free State in Bloemfontein. For now, thank you.